signs you could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah. This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your power, yeah.
Archie, is it fun?
Fun.
Fun.
After me. Ready? Happy?
Happy.
New?
New?
New.
Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shape my smile.
All right, next week. This one I saw it, but I didn't listen to it. I only read the caption. I love it when they sound this unhinged. She basically said Meghan signed up to be bullied, so she should have accepted it. There's a laugh. This is the B who used to come on Space. Okay, the Tory, the hater. All right, let's see here.
Jonesy, calling from London. What do you make of it?
I think basically they should publicise the report because
Oh my God, I can't hear.
Meghan is a big figure because of her identity, because she's a mixed race person. She's also an American woman. She's also divorced previously, and she's coming in. She's got married into the royal family. But
Wait a second. She highlight that because Meghan was a divorcee, and let me hear it again. It's very low, but I'm gonna have to ramp it up when I'm editing.
in herself is a big figure because of her identity, because she's a mixed race person. She's also an American woman. She's also divorced previously.
Okay, she's mixed race, she's American, and she's a divorcee. So this supposed to let her be abused. So that's the negative aspect of Meghan, that because of all these three, she's supposed to be taking all the abuse. Oh my God, what the F is wrong with these people over there? So, but let's listen.
And she's coming in. She's got married into the royal family, but she's also accused the royal family of giving her mental health issues and racism and lots of other things. But even before the wedding, was like accusation was that some stuff had leaked out, like how Harry shouted at the Queen, that Meghan wants what Meghan gets, and what about the wedding. And I think I think the way she's been protected a lot because of that reason by Harry and other members of staff as well. whereas she's got accusations made by the staff, but they're not. Why are we not involved in the investigation? I mean, if it's fine for Meghan to both be shows like opera or accused the royal family of doing.
So, JT, do you think?
Wait a second. It's very low. I'm trying my best to hear it. So because of the Oprah, I think I hear something about Oprah. Let me move it back a little bit.
Why are we not involved in the investigation? I mean, if it's fine for Meghan to both be shows like opera or accused the royal family.
So because accused of the royal family. I mean, if the freaking headlines were not consistent on a negative aspect about her, do you think the Oprah interview will happen? It's because of all of these headlines, and then they didn't want her to talk back. Okay, so she's supposed to be a punching bag, and then not respond. So once she left, where she's no longer under their roof, so she had to defend herself. Because the character of her was being smeared all over. Before she moved into the royal family, there was nothing, not a single thing about her. They even tried to pay people to talk negative about her.
know we can rely on you for being a great guy. So what an incredible friend you were to Meghan Markle is. Have you guys hung out at all since then?
No, we haven't spoken. She just wrote me a very nice thank you letter, and I framed it, and that was very nice of her to do. She just appreciated that I was honest, but it's so funny that we live in a time where everyone's like, it's such a big deal. I just did the right thing. Right. You know, it's okay to feel like that should be the norm and the status quo, but it's like, whoa, it's so crazy. He told the truth. I think we should all be a little more honest.
Well, thank you for doing the right thing.
Because she is such a good person, a good character.
But what I remind him is that no matter what you want to be when you grow up, it's your character that matters most.
With ethic and understanding and moral, nobody wanted to play that stupid game the UK was doing.
I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's sort of
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, you know, the flames are being fanned by the media.
You've heard the phrase cottage industry, this is a palace industry. Yeah.
So you think if the negative headlines that were going on, you think the Oprah interview will happen? And if the royal family had put a stop to the negative headlines, maybe she will not do the Oprah interview. Nobody speak up for her. It was just her and her husband. Okay, and the royal family was benefiting off of those negative headlines because Andrew sex thing was going on, so they were trying to bury it so people don't know about it. But God is good, it still come out. You cannot mess up with nature. The guy did his negative thing with a minor. All right, they're trying to bury it. He was enjoying himself at the time, and at the same time they don't want him to take responsibility for his action, and they were using the Sussexes, Meghan in particular, off of the headline, okay, to bury the negative thing that Andrew was doing. So you think Meghan is just gonna sit back and let it happen to smear her name? Okay, she's not the type. But anyway, let's listen to this BS.
So JT, do you think it could show that in fact it's Meghan herself who was bullied in the royal family?
It takes two to tango. Meghan knew what she was getting into before she married. She wasn't marrying a commoner. She was marrying one of the princes of England and one of the prime princes. And,
so just because she married into the royal family, she's supposed to be a punching bag? Is that what she's saying? She knows she was what she was getting into. What the F is this? Because of the royal family, so she's supposed to take it? Oh my God, no wonder why the royal family is using their tax money. Oh my God. But anyway,
she exactly knew what she was getting into. Every one of the royal family certain rules. Like, for example, the social media accounts, they don't patent themselves. And because Meghan was an actress previously, so she's used and she's gained a lot from the royal family in terms of
she's getting a lot from the royal family, like the gift that Queen gave the Sussexes, in particular Harry, the Fragmore, and then she has to pay for it. Well, not just she, they together, because they won right now. What the F is wrong with these people? But let me move it back again.
Previously, so she's used and she's gained a lot from the royal family in terms of publicity and career-wise as well.
It's the first time little Meghan Markle was on TV, and she was a firecracker even at age 11. Assignment way back in elementary school in Los Angeles, Meghan and her classmates were asked to watch some commercials and assess their messages.
It's always mom does this and mom does that.
In particular, a commercial for Ivory dishwashing liquid caught her attention because it used the word women.
Women are fighting greasy pots and pans.
And I said, wait a minute, how could somebody say that?
Even back then, Meghan struck everyone with her easy charm and intelligence.
Just about 1 out of every 3 commercials is gonna say something that's gonna hurt somebody's feeling.
It's absolutely clear that this young woman was strong in her beliefs. It didn't matter if she was 11 years old. She believed in women, she believed in her own power, and she wasn't afraid to reach out and say, I want my power, I want my rights.
Good evening.
Many years later, Meghan spoke about the Ivory dishwashing liquid commercial.
At the age of 11, I had created my small level of impact by standing up for equality.
Back in 1993, Meghan had these words of advice for fellow kids across America.
If you see something that you don't like or offended by on television or any other place, write letters and send them to the right people, and you can really make a difference for not just yourself, but lots of other people.
I don't think she was, I personally don't think she was that bullied, and I think she's got voices of opinion, because even if you look at the interview...
You know what? Meghan did right. Okay? Meghan did right. You say something that she didn't do, she has to stand for herself. Nobody will. Okay? Nobody will except her husband. Even her husband know the rules over there. It was hard for him to even speak up. So Meghan have to do what's best for Meghan. But just because someone, an institution, is doing this kind of thing, okay, so what is morally right to the UK? What do they consider? Not the royal family. We already know the garbage kind of morality. Okay, is the prestige that they used to make people think of them, it's no longer there. The cat is out of the bag. All right, we know they're not that prestige. But what is the moral standard for the UK? What is it? What will make people, someone from the outside like myself, would make me feel like there is morality within the Brits? Okay, I know this is 1%. There's a lot of Brits that have good morality.
I think it should make him look at his character and look at how he's behaved, for sure. I don't think he'll be worried at all, no.
It's your character that matters most.
Okay, but as a whole, who will stand up and say enough is enough? I've had enough with this, because people around the world are seeing us as this type of person, but we are not that type of person. Who's gonna stand up and say that? But my God. But just because Meghan married into the royal family, so she should be aligned with this kind of morality?
We don't get out much, so I don't personally feel that way. I still see myself as the same that I've always been, right? I've always been a hard worker. I have always, you know, the people that know me well, and some of them are here today, I've just always been the same. And so I think Melody's point is a really strong one, in that the perception might be different, but if you are really grounded in who you are, you know, in your ethics and your values, then I don't know, I show up in the same way that I always have.
Do you feel like you have to do it differently? And do you, specifically given your role, do you feel like you have to do it differently?
I think that the way that I have now moved, as my husband and I have started to build this together on our own, we're just doing it the same way that we would want if we were employees of it, right? So to treat people the way you want to be treated. That is always how I've moved. I used to work on a TV series for 7 years.
Right.
That was a crew of over 200 people, right? So the way that you are when you're with a huge environment is no different than you are when you're with a small company.
Just like the other one, the other, sister-in-law, align herself with? Just because this is the royal family, so she should align with immoral kind of behavior? So someone have to say, enough is enough. I'm not about that. But anyway.
Now, and the way when they go out, it's actually like psychologists have analysed that she's protecting Harry, the way she's holding his hand and then her behaviour and that. If you look at it now, I think what Meghan has done, she's
There is a cookbook, but it's also the story of a West London community who gathered together in a kitchen and discovered the healing power of sharing food.
Cooking for me is everything. I love to see people gathering on one table.
I love to cook. I love to feed people.
In January 2018, as I was settling into my new home of London, I met a group of women whose community had been affected by the Grenfell fire. They had decided to get together to cook fresh food for their families and their neighbors.
After the fire, it was somewhere where they could make food to take back to their hotel room where we don't have facilities to cook. It was sort of comforting to be able to do that, and the kitchen gave them the opportunity to do it.
It was quite nice to have that sense of belonging, to feel comfortable.
And so, for 2 days every week, these women were able to cook and share their delicious recipes together.
We've called the kitchen the Hub Community Kitchen because in Arabic, Hub means love, and we share love.
It's like one family now. We are sharing food, sharing happiness, sadness, everything.
I think food can bring back memories, and even the smell of food can bring back childhood comfort.
I immediately felt connected to this community kitchen. Like these women, I'm passionate about food and cooking as a way of strengthening communities.
She asked me, how many days do you offer this service? And I said 2 days a week. And her straight question was, why not 7 days, Zahira? And I said, funding. So she goes, we can do a cookbook.
We sit together, we eat together, we enjoy the time together. Never mind where are you from, which color you are, which language you talk is something amazing.
So I'm proud to be supporting this cookbook, Together, which features delicious recipes from the women of the Hub Community Kitchen.
I feel very excited that my own unique recipes are going to be used around the world, because some of the recipes that I put in there are actually like very unique to my family.
The proceeds will allow the kitchen to stay open and to thrive, so it can continue transforming lives and communities through cooking.
Initially, the project was for Grenfell and the victims, but now it's for the community to come together, to socialise, to cook, to enjoy the different flavours. It's not just about home, it's not just about cooking to fill stomachs, it's about bringing people together.
Together is the celebration of the food, whereby we share, we laugh, we enjoy, we eat. We are definitely eating.
We hope you enjoy it as much as we do.
This is more than a cookbook. And what I mean by that is the power of food is more than just the meal itself. It is the story behind it. And when you get to know the story of the recipe, you get to know the person behind it. And that's what we're talking about in terms of coming together to really engage and talk and to be able to celebrate what connects us rather than what divides us. That, I believe, is the ethos of Together. So, to the women of the Hub Community Kitchen, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this adventure with you. I'm so privileged to know you. I'm so excited to see the projects you're going to continue to do in your own community, the community at large, and also how you're going to inspire people globally by sharing your stories and your recipes. It's so impactful. We can see just in a few days alone, and the book's not even out yet, what you've been able to do. That's a testament to what this means to people, and I'm so proud of you. So on that note, I know some of you started eating, as you should. I'd be the last one to want the food to get cold. So please enjoy a beautiful lunch. Another round of applause for the women of the Hub Community Kitchen, and cheers to Together. Thank you.
I remember being a young girl watching TV and seeing what was happening in the world, and frankly often feeling despair. Because when you continue and constantly see and hear negativity, it can be overwhelming. You can feel powerless and lost. You can feel different, confused, or like you don't belong. And I'm sure that there is a young girl or boy watching this and maybe thinking the exact same thing. So this is for you. In a world that can seem so aggressive, confrontational, and dangerous, you should know that you have the power to change it.
Ulavanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today. As a university graduate, I know the personal feeling of pride and excitement that comes with attending university. From the moment you receive your acceptance letter, to the exams you spend countless late nights studying for, the lifelong friendships you make with your fellow alumni, to the moment that you receive your diploma. The journey of higher education is an incredible, impactful, and pivotal one. I am also fully aware of the challenges of being able to afford this level of schooling for many people around the world, myself included. It was through scholarships, financial aid programs, and work study, where my earnings from a job on campus went directly towards my tuition, that I was able to attend university. And without question, it was worth every effort. Everyone should be afforded the opportunity to receive education that they want, but more importantly, the education that they have the right to receive. And for women and girls in developing countries, this is vital. Providing them with access to education is the key to economic and social development. Because when girls are given the right tools to succeed, they can create incredible futures, not only for themselves, but for all of those around them. And while progress has been made in many areas across the Commonwealth, there is always scope to offer more opportunities to the next generation of young adults, and specifically to young women.
rise above that. Ew. So I just want to say, hey, and that I'm here to stay, and you're gonna be mad every day. success.
She's very cleverly used the situation towards her advantages.
Okay. Jyoti, thank you.
But anyway, that's a trash over there. Get this phrase, quote, she knew what she was getting into. Question, if you knew a whole family is gonna bully you to a point where they will want to assassinate you or the kids you may have, will you marry into the family? You mean to say Meghan married knowing she was gonna be bullied? And what was it? There was something I was thinking. Question, if you know a whole family is gonna bully you to a point where they will want to assassinate you, I was thinking of something and then I lost it. There are some people who see Meghan as a privileged light-skinned woman who won life lottery and that racism and abuse were a price she would have been prepared to pay. The nonsense that they put in those people's head is unbelievable. Unbelievable. At some point, okay, certain things needs to stop, but these people have had a free pass throughout their lives. That's the royal family. Throughout their lives, look what they did to Princess Diana. Okay, just because Princess Diana did not want to align with their immoral kind of behavior.
He says that your husband renewed his relationship with Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. Were you aware of that?
Yes, I was. But I wasn't in a position to do anything about it.
And with a husband who was having a relationship with somebody else?
Was a husband who loved someone else, yes. It was already difficult, but it became increasingly difficult.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
So you do tell me you have, okay, this woman who called, she knew what Meghan was getting into. Oh, this is the thing that I was thinking about. This is why Harry quickly married Meghan, because Harry did not want Meghan to know all of these kind of things. Okay, I've said this many times before. This is why Harry, a lot of you said no, it's not, it wasn't a quick marriage or whatever they were, whatever it is. Okay, but in my view, in my humble opinion, once the how do you call this, the tabloid is aware of their courtship, Harry and Meghan, Harry quickly put a ring on it before Meghan found out more, because Harry, I think, was trying to get out, did not want to participate with this kind of behavior. Remember, he was in the background as well. He was the institution, so he knows what goes on in there. He did not like it, knowing after he knows how Meghan behavior, the friends, the lifestyle that Meghan is living into, and he realized this is the lifestyle that I want, and he did not want Meghan to find out about his family. So as soon as the royal rats know they were dating, he quickly married her. And I've said this so many times, I truly believe that, because Meghan did not know about this, because if Meghan did, I don't think Meghan would want any part of that. Okay, they probably will remain friends, but the marrying into, I don't think Meghan would have done that, because Meghan is a person who is content. When she works for something and she gets it, she's content with what she had. She's not the greedy people, type of people who wants more and more and more. They could never have enough. All right. So that was the thing that I was thinking about. All right. And then as soon as things is getting bad, and they decided to leave, and I think Meghan told Harry, I have enough, I'm leaving. And then Harry was like, hold my tea, let me tell my grandma I'm leaving too. Alright, so, and then the royal family did not stand up for her. They expect, the same way that caller said, they expected, alright, everyone who married into the royal family to accept, okay, to accept their abuse of them. So Meghan was like, no thank you. Your prestige, what you considered to be prestige, is not my prestige kind of behavior, morality and ethic and all of that. Meghan was like, you keep your prestige, but I'm out. I do not want to be part of this. Alright? And Harry was like, I'm out too. I never liked it, but I'm out too. I'm going with my family, my new family. So that's that. So this woman who called, is that the same tweet? Yeah. This woman who called seems to be, okay, she accepts child abuse, sex trafficking, all this immorality. So she's telling me she accepts all of that. So that's what this caller is telling me. Let me read a few comments and then move on. Okay, that B used to be in the space and we booted her out ASAP. I recognize her voice. I swear that name looked familiar. So she used to be a squatty. She infiltrated herself, that's all. Because sometimes when you come across, okay, she wasn't, she just came into space trying to cause mess. I realize that sometimes there's certain conversation that's going on within the squad. Sometimes I don't share them on the videos. I know they're trying to create nonsense. I don't respond. Not everything that I respond to. Okay, this is like saying I went to a top restaurant for a meal and I should have known they were going to spit in my food. That's a very good point. Yeah, the host raised her brows a few times through that mumbo jumbo, especially the part where an actress with established social media presence should thank royal family for giving her social media fame. Okay, always funny how the moderators of this discussion always listen and let people share their uninformed opinion on Harry and Meghan. But when it comes to other members of the family, or if defending Harry and Meghan, they talk over them. Yep, I realize that too. Cut them short or add emphasis such as allegedly, we don't know, etc. That is true. Okay, this is why person of color and women of color are so disrespected. They can buy our loyalty at such a bargain. In this scrub case, she's probably doing it for free. She's so envious of Meghan, she'll belittle Meghan herself and women of color. LOL. She is in the category of if I was Meghan. Why don't uneducated or unemployed people find someone meaningful to do rather than embarrass themselves? They can't take 10th of what they are asking her to accept. It's because of people like her, black people get but do for so far. Alright, girl, bye. Alright, let's move on. I spent too much time on that. Next tweet. Oh my god, 8 minutes. Let me leave this. Okay, let's do this. James O'Brien was at his most baffled by report that an MP walked in on Carrie Johnson performing a sex act on Boris Johnson as he sought to get her a top foreign office job. I think I put this right after the other one because of morality, the kind of things that some of the people in the UK are accepting. Okay, but let's listen. 8 minutes. Oh my god, it's a lot.
The question I'm going to ask you is whether it matters, and also something I only allow myself to do very rarely on the programme, because otherwise it makes for very, very lazy radio. And although I'm hugely in favour of very, very lazy radio from the presenter's perspective, I appreciate that from the listener's perspective it can be less attractive. I'm going to ask whether you care, and if not, why not? Because I'm pretty sure I do, but I do suffer from my Catholic upbringing, Catholic with a capital C. And by suffer, I mean I sometimes have a slightly sententious or overly judgmental moral compass. And I do subscribe still to the belief that what goes on in private life can be a reliable indicator of what might happen in public life. And that if a man, for example, can lie to his wife, then he will be quite comfortable lying to a select committee or a parliament or an entire country. I don't know whether that is a valid view anymore. It's valid, but I don't know whether it is an important view anymore. I really don't. So the reason why they were so desperate to keep this story out of the Times, and of course it is for the man who was editing that night, Tony Gallagher, and the woman in charge of the entire operation, Rebecca Brooks, to
let me just say, James O'Brien, whenever I listen to some of his the clips that I come across, he seems to be one of the good public speaker in the UK who has the mic, who's on the public space to give a different, thank God, fresh air, a breath of fresh air out of the UK to make people see otherwise. This is not all of the Brits who are like that, because his moral campus is spot on. He has more. I'm not saying he's perfect, nobody is, okay, but at least it's a breath of fresh air out of the UK to say it's not all of the Brits who are immoral. Okay, so that's one thing I have to say about him. His, at least, okay, I don't know anything about him privately, but some of the things, for someone who has the mic, who's influenced a lot of minds in the UK, I have to say he is one of the good people in the UK who is at least on the right track of morality. Okay, so let's continue.
Explain why they acceded to Downing Street's requests in such a shameless and anti-journalistic fashion. If you ever get the chance to ask them, please do, because I certainly never will. The reason why they were so keen to keep this story out of the newspapers is that there was grave concern, according to Private Eye, who have some of the hardest working lawyers in the whole of the British media, so I just get that out there front and centre early doors, was because of the details that weren't published by the Times. So this is like the Streisand effect squared. John Ashcroft, who accepted a peerage from David Cameron after making various promises about his offshore finances, published a book a couple of years ago which originally broke this story. It described...
Okay, since this is a long audio, I have to stop in between. I can't just let it play. He's just giving us a background, like an introduction to the big news of what he's trying to report. Alright, so...
how aides at the Foreign Office were wary of Boris Johnson's desire to give Carrie Symonds a job because they had become aware of the fact that he was having an extramarital affair with her. He was having an adulterous affair with her. And the way in which they became aware was because an MP who was used to dropping into Johnson's parliamentary office without warning walked in abruptly and found Johnson and his current wife, then mistress, in what has been described as a compromising situation.
So this is the thing here, the morality of people in the UK. They are willing to accept these types of behavior. Okay? For someone, an elected official, to be doing this kind of things while, I guess, in the UK's clock. Meaning that he's working for the UK, but this is what he was doing. So the UK are willing to accept this type of behavior. Like the previous caller was saying, was it Meghan knew what she was getting into, marrying into the royal family, therefore she must accept all sort of behavior. So the UK people seems to be okay with this type of behavior. Alright, so let's listen.
The Friday night attack of the Abdabs at number 10 was caused by a baseless fear that the Times might be more specific about the compromising situation, Private Eye reports. So it wasn't so much the fact that Johnson was trying to secure a six-figure job for his mistress. It was about the way in which Foreign Office aides and other colleagues had found out that the woman was his mistress.
Wow.
And that is the bit where listeners of a timid disposition, which is the phrase the editor of Private Eye uses in yesterday's edition, might just want to turn the volume down briefly. I don't think this qualifies as a complete trigger warning, but certainly if you have younger children in the car with you at the moment or over the brunch table, just be aware. An MP walked into the House of Commons and found the Foreign Secretary's mistress performing a sex act on the Foreign Secretary in the House of Commons estate, or in the Foreign Office. No, it would be his parliamentary office in 2018. And that was the reason why, although none of it was reported at the time, people knew she was his mistress. Otherwise, presumably, he'd been able to get her a six-figure job as Director of Communications.
And the UK are not crying
I'm
about
going to say that once more, and we're not going to dwell on this, and we're not going to be prurient or puerile, because this is...
It's not about qualification. It's if you could do this type of things for them, you know, this is the thing, you scratch my back. Well, this one is not scratch my back. You suck something, and then you get the thing, you get the job. But the people in the UK are not crying foul, and meanwhile, someone who's overqualified for that position is not even getting an open door to get an interview for the job. I'm just saying. Alright, but let's listen.
I think the country deserves better than to be sniggering about this stuff, but it also deserves a lot better than to be silent about it.
Yep.
The reason why Foreign Office aides and other colleagues of the then Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson knew that the woman he was trying to secure a six-figure job for as a Director of Communications in one of the great offices of state in this country is because they were disturbed in the middle of a sex act on a sofa in his parliamentary office by another MP.
Wow.
I'll stick in a reportedly and an allegedly, but the detail in Private Eye is eye-wateringly frank.
Wow.
And as I say, John Ashcroft, who sort of bought his way to prominence in journalism and polling and publishing and various other.
Bought his way. That's the thing. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. There's no fair play over there. You do something for me, and then I'll do something for you. There it is being said here, right in the public. There it is.
Other areas had also published a more watered down version of events. So there it is.
Because he didn't say what happened, so therefore he get elevated for whatever.
10:16 is the time. I'm going to get on my high horse now and tell you I think this is gross. I think it's disgusting. I can just about make allowances for the extramarital affair because that is something that happens. Marriages fail. It's sometimes two people's fault. It's very, very rarely 100% one person's fault. Just because Johnson has a history of sexual incontinence and fathering children all over the shop, some of which he publicly acknowledges, some of which he moves heaven and earth to avoid publicly acknowledging, doesn't mean I don't know the privacy. I don't know the details of his last marriage's failure
private is
any
private.
more than I know the details of what
But
on
that
earth would
should
have
not be.
attracted Carrie Simmons to a man widely
You know, whatever is private is private. Yeah, things like that happen. I'm not saying it's right, but things like that happen. But being in office, okay, a public office, and this is what you're doing, this is not right. All right? When you're at the comfort of your own privacy, your home, your bedroom, whatever happens, happen. Nobody should care what you do in your bedroom. But this, okay, being in public, you're being paid to do a job, you should not be doing this kind of behavior. All right, so that's what I think O'Brien is trying to point here.
to become Prime Minister in the first place. But I do know this. It's the House of Commons. It used to be front page news if they found smears of cocaine on the cistern of House of Commons lavatories. It probably still is. But the man who is now Prime Minister, sitting on a sofa enjoying a sex act from a woman who was not his wife.
Yep.
What's happened?
So this is that previous tweet. The caller was saying that Meghan knew what she was getting into, so therefore similar kind of behavior is happening in the royal family. So therefore Meghan should accept all of this. Alright, this is what the other caller was saying. Alright, and this is why the Prime Minister remain in office, because the people accept it. Alright, so Meghan was like, I'm not about that, so she's out.
What's happened? In his parliamentary office? What's happened? Tell me a politician who could have been reported to have engaged in this sort of behaviour whose career wouldn't be over in a nanosecond. Tell me, if you would, a Labour politician who wouldn't be all over the front pages today if this had been about them, even if opposition.
If it was, let's say, it was the reverse. I know this is not the same thing with Meghan and the royal family, but it's the parallel, the kind of behavior, the same type of behavior that's happening in the royal family. So because the people of the UK accept that, okay, there's some people like O'Brien who doesn't accept it because it's immoral, it's not right. So therefore, that person who called from the previous tweet, because Meghan are aware the royal family have a history of sex trafficking, child, predator, and all of this. So therefore, Meghan should accept that. This is what the other caller was trying to say here. Meghan knew what she was getting into, so therefore she should accept it. It's not right. Once you're aware of something, this is two different things. When you're not aware of something, when you don't know about something, okay, how could you make a decision about something you don't know? But as soon as you are aware of something, that's a different ball game. Once you know something exists and it's happening, this is where your core value come into play to make the ethic kind of decision. right from wrong. So once Meghan was aware of it, she said, this is wrong. I don't want to be part of it. But these people, like the caller from the previous tweet, is aware the behavior of the royal family. Okay? So she accept that, and therefore she expect Meghan to accept that type of behavior. Alright, so this is the actually that phone call tells more about that caller than Meghan itself. Actually, it pretty much point out the differences between right and wrong, and morality, and this kind of thing. The caller shows herself the type of person she is. She will accept this type of behavior, and Meghan pretty much tell everybody in the world, say, this behavior is not for me. I don't like this. I don't care how much prestige you think you are, or you the royal family. I don't want to be part of that. It tells the kind of morality, core value of Meghan. Let me finish listening to that.
Position. Imagine it was Keir Starmer or Jeremy Corbyn. Sorry, no one wanted that mental image. Just imagine. Alright, I'm not going nuts, am I? This is really, really weird.
It's true.
And what is misconduct in public office? If not a sex act on a sofa in your parliamentary premises? But I don't know, and this is where perhaps I need your help. Is it just because it's him? Is this the most positive proof yet that the rules, the normal standards just don't apply?
Yep.
Look, you can cheat on your wife and remain in politics. Didn't used to be the case. Cecil Parkinson's career was over when he impregnated his secretary.
Wow.
To all intents and purposes.
What? I don't even know who that person is, but my God. It's infested over there. It is infested over there. All of them have the same type of mindset, those people who are in those positions. Oh my God, who is that guy again?
But the rules, the normal standards just don't apply. Look, you can cheat on your wife and remain in politics. Didn't used to be the case. Cecil Parkinson's career was over when he impregnated his secretary. To all intents and purposes.
Oh my
Only
Lord.
what, 40 years ago, if that?
Oh, so 40 years ago, I
But
would
here we
never
are
know.
now. Oh yeah, okay. What else is in the news today? He's signed a big check for Ukraine. Let's talk about that. So, have we gone mad? Or is this just the case of me being a bit of a dinosaur? And
No,
this sort of stuff
you're
doesn't
right,
matter
O'Brien.
anymore?
You
And
are right.
This is the key bit, because I'm not going to buy the argument that this sort of stuff doesn't matter anymore, unless it wouldn't matter whoever it was in the centre of this story. So here I am asking you a question that even in these crazy times, I never thought I'd ask. Does it matter?
It does matter.
That a foreign secretary in his parliamentary office was interrupted in the middle of a sex act being performed by his then mistress, now wife.
Alright, so O'Brien needs to bring this type of question out to let people outside of the UK know it's not all of the UK who are like that. This is the way that I see this. But let's see. Alright, let's see. That's one of the squad. Jesus Christ, the way she spelled it. How rotten is the British Tory government? Oh my God, they turned number 10 into a warhouse. Okay, I thought the great O'Brien only dealt in facts, not rumors and a noodle. Alright, let's see here. Of course it matters. Can you think of any other job where this sort of behavior during working hours and in office, especially between senior manager and younger subordinate, will be tolerated? And it doesn't matter in the least that they eventually married her. Yep, I agree with her. Want to know which MP it was. How many job interviews did she have before the one with Boris? That's what I'm saying. There's probably people who is more qualified for that position because they don't know people who know people who know people to open the door for them to get at least an interview. Alright, but this one was already in there, decided, put her mouth where to get that position. Anyway, let me move on. Alright, so now I'm moving to the US. I have 3 more tweets that have to do with the US, and I'm already an hour. I don't want to put it off for another video. Alright, so there's this. Okay, watch live. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson swore in as the Supreme Court's 116th Justice. She is the first black woman to serve on the High Court. Alright, 2 minutes and 17 seconds.
The office on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much. And now I'll turn things over to Justice Breyer.
Good. The Judicial Oath. Will you raise your right hand, please? Thank you. I, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
I, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will administer justice.
That I will administer justice.
Without respect to persons.
Without respect to persons.
And do equal right.
And do equal right.
To the poor and to the rich.
To the poor and to the rich.
And that I will faithfully and impartially.
And that I will faithfully and impartially.
Discharge and perform.
Discharge and perform.
All the duties.
All the duties.
Incumbent upon me.
Incumbent upon me.
As an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
As an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States.
Under the Constitution.
Under the Constitution.
And laws of the United States.
And laws of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Alright, so this is the thing all of the Supreme Court justices in the US had to go through, and we have several of them who did not stand by their oath. Alright, that overturned Roe versus Wade. This is the thing that is happening, and they should bring them back to the Senate and have questioned them. Why did they lie to the Senate? Okay, regarding the Roe versus Wade. Go watch some of my old videos. I discussed some of that, and I have more videos on Roe versus Wade, US politics. I haven't even touched. There's so much more going on. I keep on pushing it because so many things is going on in the news.
Of all of the members of the court, I am pleased to welcome Justice Jackson to the court and to our common calling.
Look at her husband. Her husband looking at her very proudly. As a matter of fact, when the husband was walking behind them, it just reminded me how the UK is the woman always have to walk behind. I mean, I'm not saying, but anyway, this just crossed my mind. I just wanted to point it out. Okay, June 30th, 2022. Oath ceremony. Congratulations to her. Okay, I think there is a article or something, so that's it. Let's see here, let me pause it. Okay, what's the importance of her skin color? I thought her qualification and competence are more important. Do you question skin color when it's white people? Why the racial remark? What about qualification? What is it? Ketanji Brown sworn, but it is, she is the first black woman. But anyway, was it, we had the first Hispanic, we had the first black man, what's his name again? He passed already. But anyway, let's go to the next one. All right, breaking. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has been sworn in to the Supreme Court, shattering a glass ceiling as the first black woman on the nation's highest court. The 51-year-old Jackson is the court 116th justice. Let's read some of the comment. Let's stick to what's on the screen. Okay, tell me again why mentioning her color matters. Okay, the Republicans' South Carolina majority was established unfairly, so it's time to expand the court before it's too late. Okay, congratulations to our 116th Supreme Court Justice of the United States, Justice Ketanji Brown. I wish her all the best. If there's any remote possibility to channel RBG's power, now is the time. I'm sure RBG is looking up and cheering her on. Okay, were they passing all the stuff before she could be sworn in? Yep, how it started. Oh, so that's interesting. Is that them? Oh my god, look at, if that's the husband, oh my goodness, he looks so, their faces are so childish looking. I mean, obviously they were much younger. Let's see here. If I could read it. Hall of Fame member Ketanji Brown enjoyed traveling and meeting debate squads from all over the country. She has had plenty of opportunities to do as numerous local, state, and national tournaments where she has placed high competing in different debate event. In addition to her many debate trophies, she is most proud of being the recipient of her Harvard Book Award as an officer for both NFL and NHS, and a member of 3 other honor societies. She rarely has spare time. Regarding her future, Ketanji said, quote, "I want to go to law school, eventually have a judicial appointment." Wow. That was 1993. Okay. Hall of Fame member Stephen Rosenthal enjoys tennis and basketball. Oh, so they're talking about them. Okay, so that's for her, and this is the husband. Okay, enjoy tennis and basketball in addition to playing and umpiring baseball for Howard Palmetto League. Also, his involvement in extemporaneous speaking has him competing and placing in local, state, and national tournaments. Besides serving as junior and senior class vice president, he belongs to several honor society and clubs. Other achievements include winning school English and debate award. So they like debate. They like to debate. Okay, I like to attend an Ivy League college and perhaps get involved in politics, Stephen said. Although he is unsure of a major, he knows that happiness is his major goal. That's very interesting. But anyway, the senior 1993, was that high school? Cool. Wow. Let's see here. Thanks, AP. For being one of the few reporting on this amazing historic event, for calling her Justice Ketanji Brown, and your tweet. Okay, great news, something to be hopeful and happy about in this otherwise ugly, malicious darkness. So let's go to the last one. There's more comment, but I'm moving on. What's the next? Republican state minority leader. Okay. Let's see here. Occupy Democrat. Breaking news, Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell announces that he will resign if he doesn't become Senate Majority Leader after November's midterm election. Retweet if you would love to see Mitch McConnell resign. Believe me, this is one guy who knows how to play the game very well, but it's not in favor of the majority of the U.S. All right, it's like he's destroying the democracy. Okay, if you're thrilled that Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell just announced that he will resign if he doesn't become Senate Majority Leader after November's midterm election, and hope to see him resign, please retweet and follow us for more breaking political news. This will hand his seat to Dems since Kentucky has a Democratic governor, right? Actually not. Okay, 1B, the appointee shall be selected from a list of 3 names submitted by the State Executive Committee of the same political party as the senator who held the vacant seat. By calling it like a year ago. Okay, at the very least, Dems need to maintain a 50-50 Senate, and Mitch will resign within a month. Okay, when was that? Oh, wow. June 24, 2021. Without being Senate leader, it's all he can do to stomach sticking around on a hope and prayer that GOP gain control in 2022. If they don't, no chance in hell Mitch serve out his term. So this person called it out back in 2021. Okay, June 24, almost to a year. Okay, absolutely. Quote, if the U.S. has someone whom historians will look back on as the gravedigger of American democracy, it is Miss McConnell. Yep. That is for sure. All right, so there's more. People need to go out and vote. The midterm election is very important. Like I said in many of other videos, midterm election 2022, it's the same thing as midterm 2010. If people don't go out and vote, we will have almost the same result as when President Obama was president on the first term, and that's where everything went downhill. People did not go and vote, but they only come out during presidential election. All right, so if people wants to change the course of history, this is it, and this November. All right, so let's do a prayer. What should we do prayer for? Prayer, let's do brighter future. There's no side prayers. Okay, let's see here. A prayer for your child's future. All right. Father, when I think of my children's futures, I ask that you will give each of them a clear vision of what your best plan is for them. Then give them, it continues. Let's go to image. Oh my God, 1 hour and 19 minutes. Let's do this. Okay, keep standing, keep believing, and keep hoping, because God has a bright future in store for you. Amen. You cannot just keep on hoping. You need to do things. All right, let's do this one. Consult not your fear, but your hopes and your dreams. Think not about your frustration, but about your unfulfilled potential. Concern not yourself with what you try and failed in, but what is still possible to do. That's the thing. You must do. Doing is the thing. You cannot just sit there and let hoping. Hoping is good. Don't get me wrong. Hoping is good, but doing, working toward your hope, is what matters. You cannot just keep on hoping, or you're living for somebody else to do the hope for you. Okay, so you have to get out and vote and do things and hope that what you vote for is what happened, and hoping that everyone else who went to vote think the same way that you did. That way we could, have a better future. Okay, we cannot just hope. There has to be action behind the hope. All right, now is the time to put aside past and present setbacks and failures and look with confidence to the new day called tomorrow. That is true. All right, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And you could just become a member or just watch the commercials. All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching.